Hello everyone and welcome back to Complicated Relationships Reddit Stories. Hope you guys are safe and healthy. Now let's see what the story is about today. In today's story, OP tells us about how his wife confessed to her secret relationship. I have been with my wife for 22 years, 18 married. I'm still very attracted to her and love her very much. I have never seen other women or thought of doing so. I am fit, financially successful and a bit introverted. We have 3 children, 9 to 17, and reside in the northeastern United States. All was well in our relationship with perhaps some complacencies on both parts. Our physical intimacy was okay, but infrequent. I have accepted this and just assumed this happens with women after 22 years, but admit there were repressed frustrations with our lack of physical closeness, intimacy, and concede I could have done more to actively address this. After taking time off to stay home with our children, she went back to work for a small distributing firm of 10 about 4 years ago. Her work required her to interact closely with her boss. Unbeknownst to me, she was physically attracted to him and found him very charming. She never told me this part. All seemed well for the next 4 years, and at the same time, she seems overly enthusiastic about her job sometimes, but I did not question it, given this was largely in line with her personality. Then came the shock late last year. One morning, she woke up and told me that she lost the job the previous day. I was told her married boss told her that he was too attracted to her and he had feelings for her. He has told her that he has decided that he couldn't work with her anymore. So they mutually agreed that she would leave the firm. She admitted that she received some attention which she liked. I wanted to get compensation for unjust dismissal, but she wanted to move on. The following month involved with my wife being continually sad and upset. I attributed this to the loss of her job that she loved. My mother-in-law also noticed and suggested that she get some counseling. She did, and a month and a half later, she left her therapy journal in the kitchen cupboard when the kids came home through the door one day. There it remained, and I stumbled upon it later that night. Pandora's box. Long and short, I read it all. Documented notes of her recognition of large quantities of text, emails, phone calls, all work-related but done in secret, including our family holidays and weekends. Many work functions in secret from me with significant opportunities for a long time. Enough so, there were plenty of documented physical contact, although nothing crossing clear affair lines. Bodies touching and leaning in, leg brushes, hands overlapping, and by the end, some kind of physical contact every day. But no kissing or physical activities. Intensifying feelings, making or buying him lunches for daily work trips, constant flirting and teasing, wearing perfume and dressing better, thinking of him and envious of his wife. Then the icing on the cake. Recognition that over the last year or so, that she wanted to go further with him physically in her thoughts and fantasize about it all the time. Naturally, I was shocked. I confronted her on this, and she claims she just wasn't self-aware, and these were the realizations of the behavior after the fact. She never crossed any obvious lines, so she thought she was managing and just had an enjoyable working relationship. Fast forward another 5 months. My wife is still not over the emotional affair. She concedes she fits the bill for this definition and understands its destructiveness to a marriage. She kept up with no contact whatsoever, but admitted that he continues to have a spell on her, which she just cannot break the deep bond she has. Basically, she fell in love without realizing it. She also has admitted that the intense physical desire she had for him, that this was getting more difficult to manage with the increasing physical contact, and, drum roll, that this is not the case with me. Looking back now, her life and daily aspect of her daily thoughts and structure orbited around him, enmeshed in their work relationship and close contact. 50 to 75% every day they were working together, a huge quantity of time over the last 4 years. Now that it is over, she is in an emotional wasteland given that she has drifted so far away from me and the family in terms of true emotional connection. physical intimacy towards me has deteriorated since the breakup with her boss. She hasn't touched me in the last 2 to 3 months, and it's just limited to me giving her a kiss goodnight or trying to stay connected through me giving her a massage while we watch TV. She wants to stay together and recalibrate her orbit, but asking for patience and time. With 5 months having passed and virtually no or very little change in her newly self-aware feelings for him, I am struggling as to why I am remaining. She admits I became number 2, does not have any desire for me, and carried this out secretly for 4-year period, is eating away at me. She doesn't want to do marriage counseling together yet because she admits she is still too connected to him in her thoughts, but she committed to commencing MC once this passes. I think maybe the biggest thing I'm struggling with is that her boss broke it off and not her. I understand how these things can happen insidiously over in time in such a situation. The betrayal, the breach of trust and dishonesty is hard to swallow. How far would she have let it go before becoming self-aware, and if this was really the case? Can someone really lack self-aware to this degree? Is she only coming back because he ended it? Prior to him ending it, there was never any communication on her part about wanting to improve our marriage, and never any communication of what was going on. So guys, is it time for me to pack my bags? The sad reality is that while she may not have intended to fall in love with him like those who consciously seek affairs, the end result is still the same. Did she destroy our marriage? I love the kids dearly, but not sure how I can handle this much longer. Well guys, that's all we have from the original post so far. And for now, let's check out a few comments and the answers by OP so we could get more information on what happened after. Also, if you're enjoying the video so far, please give a thumbs up. Mike's Tropical 61 says, "You already have the puzzle pieces here together in one place, yet you cannot form a picture to complete it. Your wife is a classic case for cheaters. She has insecurities and stress from the marriage, then finds a new job and gets attention from the boss, which she gratefully accepts. Now you say she never went beyond that, and I do not believe this whatsoever, but it is up to you to draw the conclusions. So she gives in to temptation and accepts and returns the attention from him. This releases dopamine and endorphins in her brain, the pleasure hormone. It continues to escalate, and there are intimate moments such as trips, meals, etc. All these cause the release and build up oxytocin in her brains, which gives you the intimacy, trust and love feeling. So now she's in love with him, and eventually it would have led to her leaving you to be with him. But what happened? You're right, he broke it off, which left her with the in love void, and with you being the fallback option or the emotional comfort and the security option, also called the stable relationship. That is all you are to her now. She's not willing to give up that oxytocin or the intimate feeling with her boss, and for that to happen, she would have to recommit to your relationship and rebuild that intimacy with you. There is nothing that you can do to change this. You can be the option number 2, the stability, or you can give up and let her go. Now she knows that she cannot get him back because the boss obviously did not share the deep feelings, but she cannot commit to you and the relationship either. It seems that you're totally in love with her because you will not insist on anything to do with her. For you to take her back at all, she would have to take individual counseling for her control issues. She would have to have total disclosure on the events, commit to the relationship totally, and total transparency going forward. You act like you have to appease her for some reason. It is inconceivable that I would have stayed with my wife under these circumstances. But if you want to be the stable version and her possibly leaving you or dropping you, when and if he comes back, then by all means stay and do what she says." OP's reply: "I'm 99.999% sure that she did not cross the physical and kissing lines, but she admits the temptation and was already getting into physical boundary crossing as described. So I agree that this may have been on the menu at some point. Not sure she would have been jarred into reality. Once more, obvious lines were crossed for the reasons you have noted, dopamine, etc. I have no doubt that the emotional bond was becoming deep and would have been deeper had it not ended. I am unclear of your response if you're saying that there is a possibility that the intimacy can be rebuilt. In your opinion, is it a lost cause to get back to this? Here's what she has done to date. No contact with AP, she's doing IC, and willing to do MC after the affair fog clears. She has given the facts to me over time, but I do feel I have them. She told me that she is committed to the marriage and that this won't be repeated. I was open to reconciliation, but I read your answer to ultimately mean, yes, pack your bags. Or maybe pack your bags unless you are okay with just a stable version of the relationship with little to no physical intimacy. Throwaway don't matter to me says, man, I hate to tell you this, but your marriage will never be the same. I have personal experience in this matter. I traveled a lot for work, and my wife, feeling lonely and unappreciated, met a man. She was 33 at the time and the man was 51. One day she told me that she was seeing someone. They continued to see each other and they had been intimate for several months and she wanted to separate. Went to counseling and she told the therapist right in front of me that the physical intimacy was the most amazing thing that she ever had. She said, beside him being an incredible lover, he did what she wanted and she did what he wanted because of their strong emotional connection. 3 months later, she moved all her things to his house. 6 years later, he had an affair and kicked her out. She actually called me and wanted to try to work it out. 6 years later? Are you kidding me? In my opinion, emotional affairs are so much worse than physical affairs. I agree with her when she said that the intimacy is so much better when there is a connection. OP's reply: I agree. I think if it was physical, I would already be gone. Yes, emotional affairs are indeed just as bad or worse than purely physical ones. As it is, just with knowing that the thoughts were there and that it almost happened is bad enough. If it's both emotional and physical, it would be impossible to recover from. I'd be providing the same response as you if she came back after 6 years. End of the story. Please like, comment and share the video if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you will be notified when we upload the next video. Take care.